Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome to round 14 of season 2 of our F124 Salvaging Sauber career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Singapore Grand Prix at Marina Bay. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from the Temple of Speed at Monza, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. 3 races to go of the campaign, and for the first time ever inside this series, we lead the Formula 1 World Championship. Monza last weekend, there was no other way of describing it, it was chaos. It all happened behind me. We almost bottled the win without even realising, but we have made it now 3 Grand Prix victories in a row, and the momentum is really behind us as we head into these final few rounds. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, neither of them have been on the podium since that domination that we saw back at Silverstone a few races ago. Sergio Perez still with an outside shot of the crown, but he desperately needs to win a race with his McLaren team this season. 5 runner-up finishes for the Mexican, and I believe 3 of those have come to myself so far this year as well. But yeah, really looking forward to it. These final 3 rounds, I'm hoping we can do enough to win the World Championship. Of course, if you're new and you aren't already, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We are trying to hit 7k subs before F125 releases now, early on next week. But yeah, without further ado then, let's return here to Singapore.
It is one of our great cinematic settings of the season. Welcome to Singapore. We're under the floodlights with the walls close and pole position up for grabs.
Well, here we are then, back under the lights here for the Singapore Grand Prix qualifying. I have loved this venue inside F124. I really hope they don't change it for F125, because getting a lap hooked up around here is so satisfying. I don't think we've still ever taken a pole inside this series. Maybe today could finally be the day. That'll be quite impressive if we can win a Formula 1 World Championship despite never starting from P1. I know Niki Lauda, I think, did it in his 1984 championship win, but of course obviously he'd claimed pole position before that behind the wheel of Formula 1 machinery. We've never done it once inside this series as well, but Red Bull, again, you'd expect them to look strong this weekend. McLaren should be right there. Ferrari, after a disaster in front of the Tifosi, they'll be wanting to rebound as well around this circuit, but let's just see what we can do today. There is trying not to bobble over the curbing too much down through sector 2, and nice and tidy through the hairpin there. Obviously this final sector a lot faster than it used to be around this circuit, but we're still not quite there up against those Red Bull cars. But we've just got to start playing the numbers game in these final 3 races, doing what we need to, not taking too much risk for our World Championship hopes as we make our way then down in towards the final chicane. Absolutely sending it on the entry, not quite getting the run though on the exit. We're going to be completely flat through the final corner, I believe. Should hopefully make a little bit of gains. We'll end up 4th here, very close to the front. Well, one team I hadn't factored in for being very quick around here in qualifying was Aston Martin, but Fernando Alonso, he loves this venue inside F124. So many times have I seen him claim pole position here, and he's done it again. 4 cars from 4 different teams inside your top 4, all covered by just over 1/10 of a second there, as Verstappen will be on the front row. We will be alongside Charles Leclerc on row 2. Lando Norris down in P5. He's going to have his work cut out as we head into the race. And Perez, well, this might be where his championship completely falls apart. P14 in qualifying. He is going to need a miracle.
The spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, something of an endurance race ahead with the notorious sauna-like temperatures for the drivers. It makes it a very physical contest out there. Welcome back to Marina Bay for the Singapore Grand Prix. It is a wonderful racetrack to come to, but it's sometimes been a bit tricky to overtake. We have a new layout to try and change all of that. Reduced to 3 miles, it's turn 16 and turn 19, which has gone from corners to a straight. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Norris, Stroll, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Ocon, Bottas, Gasly, Perez, Tsunoda, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Ricciardo, Joe, Sargent, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Well, even more grid penalties then for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc's season it's basically over for him to try and win the World Championship, and especially starting down in P8. His life has been made even more difficult. Myself versus Max Verstappen, Lando Norris right behind as well. That, I think, is going to be the battle between now and the end of the year. But I'm sure Fernando Alonso, he would love to snooker away a victory as well. Rain, once again, is predicted by the end of the afternoon. But unlike Hungary, I'm not going to take any risk with it. I'm just going to focus on, just making sure we pick up sensible points. We've got pace here. We didn't have much pace back at Magyar Nagadic, but ready then on the grid, waiting on those 5 red lights here in the Singapore. And it's going to be lights out and away we go there. Lando Norris responding very well. He's going to try and cut down the middle there as Alonso and Verstappen go wheel to wheel. And look at that, Norris straight past both of his championship rivals down the middle at the first couple of corners there. Looks like Verstappen absolutely opted for the soft compounded tyre, ready for the start of the GP. So, yeah, quite surprised he didn't get the hook up there, as a lot of drivers actually opting for the soft compound here at the start. But Fernando Alonso covered that off beautifully down at turn 1, and Lando Norris, well, he absolutely took the gamble, and it has paid off for him there. Let's not forget, 1 point in it between those 2 Red Bull cars right now, but we are in prime position this weekend, obviously, just to put ourselves in a spot where we know what we have to do to win the World Championship by the end of the season. A little bit wide as we try and make our way down through this middle sector on lap 1. Of course, the big thing early on is just getting into a rhythm, getting up to speed and confident around this circuit. So easy to understeer into a wall or make a mistake around pretty much every corner here. So that's going to be the goal, to avoid that. I'm expecting that top 3, though, to be very quick early on. I'm surprised they've risked it on softs, though. Well, very quickly then, things have settled down at the start of the Grand Prix, but we know what Alonso's strategy is. Just go out of the gates really strong.
In about 10 to 15 minutes. Dry's definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
I mean, this is really odd, isn't it? Because had the rain arrived at Monza or Belgium when they said it would, it probably would have been right at the end of the Grand Prix. But where Hungary and Singapore have much lower average speeds than either of those circuits, it does allow kind of the rain to roll in and actually play a bit more of an effect here. Like I said, we need to be risk off this weekend.
10 to 15 minutes from now.
Yeah, thank you for that again, Mark. Clearly forgetting that he told me that 15 seconds ago. But yeah, this could really, again, spice things up today. We'll see how the medium tyres hang on, because already it seems like the softs are beginning to struggle. Just starting to rock up to the back then of Max Verstappen here as we start lap 5. Like I said, those soft compound runners starting to look a little bit vulnerable, but I think it might be more that the mediums have come up to speed and up to temperature a little bit better. You'd think with how many traction zones there are, this circuit would be much worse on the rear tyres, but so far actually tyre wear looks to be pretty good around here. As can we try and get a run then on Verstappen, maybe catch him by surprise? He's going to swing defensive up at the top of the circuit, around the outside at the end of the Raffles Boulevard, and we will make it through and up then into P3 of this race. Well, we are almost pushing Lando Norris around this circuit right now, desperately trying to see if either A, we can get a move done on him, or B, at least try and get him right up to Fernando there as well. We got a nice run out of the hairpin. Actually, Lando going to just have to sit a little bit defensive in towards the next corner, but his teammate Verstappen still looking to try and make moves if he possibly can. Can we use this new straight towards the end of the lap to try and gain an advantage? To the outside of Lando will go, and around the outside of our second Red Bull in about 3 laps here. We're doing pretty well by the end of lap 6. Oh, here we go. Trying to get a run on Fernando Alonso, of course. He not having DRS will make our life a whole lot easier to try and attack, as he'll go late on the brakes down at the end of the Raffles Boulevard, making sure we give each other room as we are constantly trying to switch back against the other green machine there. Lando Norris thought about getting involved. We've lost ourselves plenty of time on that lap, but Fernando, again, so good around this venue. But generally, one of the best wheel-to-wheel races inside this game. Gives you room, but really races you hard. Well, there we go. First retirement of the afternoon. Nico Hülkenberg, of course, scored his first points of this series last weekend. As that is not what we wanted to do. They're completely locked at the rears, and both Red Bulls will say thank you very much again. That's given Alonso a little bit of breathing room at the front of the order. Can we immediately try and go back on the offensive against Max? No, we can. Maybe just upsetting the rears slightly in all of that battling. Oh, Verstappen. Oh, Verstappen! What is going on there? He just had no power off the exit of the corner, and, well, he certainly slowed us down. We're going to try and have a look down the inside into the very next corner. I mean, you can try and move across me there at the last minute, buddy, and that's just going to make me want to go for it more. I was just about to start talking about how the AI need to start pitting soon. Team reckon the rain is still about 10 minutes away, absolute minimum. So what I'm going to do is extend this stint a little bit further there. As there we go, Alonso and Verstappen both into the pit lane. But we're going to extend this stint to about lap 14, lap 15, and then try and go softs to the end. That way, if the rain does arrive, we should have a bit more grip, and if it doesn't, well, we should be mighty fast. Oh, there we go, Lando in. Lando in as well then. That shouldn't really be a surprise to me. I don't know why I was surprised by Lando into the pit lane. Mark, no we are not. Bottas as well, doing pretty well in this GP. But yeah, now, to be honest, I would quite happily allow the rain to arrive now. I wouldn't be too worried if it did rock up. But we'll wait and see.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Team are adamant that rain is going to arrive, so we're just going to stick out here then. At the moment, it has rolled in a little bit sooner than we were expecting it to in this race, but with still 10 laps to go. Definitely could see the circuit get wet enough. It is as well, just like Hungary, meant to come in very, very rapidly, so obviously that means that we're more likely to see a switch to winters, because obviously that rain's going to be heavier. 10 laps remaining though of this Grand Prix. Hungary, it worked fantastically for us. I'm hoping it does the same today.
Valtteri is in for his stop.
There we go, Valtteri Bottas. That is a very late pit stop in this race. Oh no, that's really stupid. Don't hit the wall, don't hit the wall. And oh, that big advantage we had at the front of the order. Well, we've just absolutely carved into it. Alonso's probably going about 2 seconds a lap faster than me. And just occasionally you get those weird moments around this venue where the back end, it just feels like you've got grip, and then it just goes. Oh, there we go, there we go. I think that's rain. Yep, there you go. The rain as we start lap 16 has now arrived here at Marina Bay. We knew it was going to come before the end of the GP, but with basically 7 laps to go then, it can definitely get wet enough to force a move to the intermediates. I will be trying to go for it and absolutely time it. I'm not going to worry about what the AI are going to do. We are just going to focus on making sure we're on the right tyre at the right time. Oh, we're not even 1 lap into these wet conditions, and already the car was starting to slip slide around just a little bit more. Lap times, I mean, they were falling off anyway because these tyres are feeling pretty warm, but I wouldn't be shocked if we need to pit pretty soon in this GP there. Lap 17, 6 laps to go really, I guess. Oh yeah, we are going to have to box soon. This car is all over the show. Yeah, we are going to be diving in. We are going to have to dive in at the end of this lap. It might be 1 lap too early, but we are tiptoeing around this circuit. You can already see on the dash 9 seconds down on our best lap time. And there you go, DRS disabled. So we might have already seen a couple of cars into the pit lane then, but I mean, 2 laps worth of rain, and already the car feels almost undrivable, wheel spinning in 4th and 5th gear here, but this is do or die for our World Championship. We cannot afford to make another mistake in this Grand Prix like we did a few laps ago, as we just try and tiptoe through the final few corners. Yep, into the pit lane we will come then, taking no risk on the entry. Make sure we don't get done for speeding like I did last weekend. Didn't even realise, like I said in Monza, we got the penalty. Mark didn't warn me about it or anything else. So it was a really, really good job that we did survive and obviously built up such a huge lead by the end of the afternoon. But onto the intermediates we'll go. A few cars you can hear there opting to stay out. 1 car opting to stay out. It would appear that there goes another. So I would assume it's one of the Red Bulls that has had to stay out there. Bottas in. I mean, if we got a red flag now, that would really pay dividends to some of those cars. But yeah, we are hopefully going to be seconds a lap faster here almost immediately. We just got to be careful, get some temperature into those rears. Hopefully a little bit of wheel spin. I can do some tricks with that. But I mean, look how slow those cars are immediately just in front of us. So the strategy, we made it somehow work in Hungary. This weekend, it has seemed a lot more plain sailing. So there you go. I think that's Esteban Ocon just in front of me, but not for very long. So it's Gasly down the inside. We will go. There's so much more grip than these guys. Is this Perez? Is this Piastri? Absolutely crawling along as well. We make another slight slip up. I believe that is Oscar. So back up into the podium places. No idea how far behind Alonso is, but I'll be really, really interested to know which Red Bull was forced to stay out here as well. One of the Mercedes as well. Of course, a lot of the teams will be opposed to double stacking, despite the fact it probably would have made sense here. Lewis Hamilton forced to stay out at the moment, so we will easily out-traction him. Let's have a listen.
Sainz is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead, 11.5 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, their tyres are 7 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. And the time last lap, 1 minute 42.5.
There we go. Had I given myself a few extra seconds, I would have seen that it wasn't a Red Bull. It was one of the Ferraris, and Carlos Sainz, of course, won this Grand Prix back in 2023. It's going to lead it here, but not even for a full lap, as we will get back past him before the start-finish line. Back into P1 with 4 to go. Oh, okay, Verstappen. Verstappen apparently with issues then with just 1 lap to go of this GP. No idea where he is down the order. But we are 1 lap away from claiming our 4th victory in a row this season. I think it'll be win number 7 of the campaign. This Sauber car, pretty much admittedly after Hungary, has really just been clicking. But that win there really has given us the momentum we needed, the belief as well that we can win this World Championship. One thing I really hope as well that we don't lose on F1 25. That on F1 24, like around a circuit like this in the rain, every time you go under a gantry, under a motorway bridge, anything like that, you can feel the car temporarily grip up because, of course, obviously there's less water down, which is really, really kind of cool and nice still. But, like, you know, often think is underappreciated inside F1 24 as well, but that I'm not going to miss. Every single race, every single one. But making our way, though, through this final lap, I've got no idea how close Alonso is behind us. He hasn't flashed up on the proximity arrows, so I don't think we're under too much pressure. But again, obviously, it could be a bit like Monza, where the gap is way different to what I expected it to be by the end of the GP. But through the final few corners here of the Singapore Grand Prix, with this win today, we're going to have a race wins margin at the top of the table. Oh, how quickly the tables can turn inside Formula 1. And with 2 races to go, we now just need to try and play it safe throughout Brazil and Las Vegas as well. And could we be on the brink of a World Championship for Sauber Formula 1 team? In towards the final few corners here in Marina Bay. 4 wins in a row. I don't think I've ever done that inside F1 24, but everything is coming together. 1 more turn to go. It is P1.
Nice one. Very lovely drive. On to the next one.
What a great race it's been then. Another classic Singapore Grand Prix. And they've held on to take the checkered flag here today. Looks like they're out onto the podium right now, and what a result this is. A popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Sauber team on top here today.
Well, there we are then. The one-stop strategy today really did pay dividends for us. P1 here in Singapore from third on the grid. Alonso, he will be very, very gutted not to walk away with the dub there. Lando Norris in third ahead of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, with Russell, Stroll, Perez, Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas gets another point on the board. I love to see it for our teammate. Hopefully he can keep that up right the way through to the end of the campaign. Hamilton will be disappointed in 13th. Oscar Piastri, another weekend where he fails to score points there ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. But I believe with that win, we will knock Alonso out of World Championship contention. I believe there's 60 points available now with 2 races to go, so Sergio Perez is all but out of it as well. But we have a 28-point buffer ahead of Lando Norris. As long as we outscore him and Verstappen next weekend, we will have a Formula 1 World Championship to show for it before we even head to Vegas for the season finale. Constructors-wise, we've got a 26-point buffer over Ferrari as well. Could we potentially get to McLaren by the end of the campaign? That will be a rather impressive feat. I believe, though, Red Bull are officially our Constructors' champions with 2 races to go. I don't think, there's about 100 points left available for everybody else there. So Red Bull have gone and done it yet again. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon ready for the Brazilian Grand Prix.